Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite amazing host, Chris. I'll be flying solo today. Josh came down with a little bit of the COVID, and here we are. Sorry, I ran a couple minutes late this morning. And if Josh is in the crowd, I forgot about your thumbs you'd sent me weeks ago. So I threw this one together last second. And by threw it together, I mean I edited an old one. Ha! All right, but thank you for joining us. Please feel free to submit your questions in the chat. I can't seem to find. There it is. Oh, there he is. I must have missed his previous comment. Anyway, we've got something odd in the chat. I don't know what you're referring to, Josh. Maybe I didn't have the chat open or something. I don't have the previous comment. Anyway, thank you for joining us, everybody. Please submit your questions in the chat. If you've got any start-sit questions, asking for a friend, heck, even a little late for a trade, but, trade questions, and we'll go through the news, notes, and injury updates today for week 6 of the NFL. Right off the bat, I can tell you got a lot of starting quarterbacks playing backup quarterback that are hurt. Like it's the trend of week 6. It's the starting quarterback hurt himself, but he's not hurt enough to not be the backup. So whatever. Let's start there with the quarterbacks. Andy Dalton will make his 3rd start today, with Jameis slated to dress as the backup, as I mentioned. Back to full health. Similar story in Miami. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, I think I just nailed it, was cleared from concussion protocol today per sources. He will be inactive on Sunday versus the Vikings, but he is expected to make a return week 7 versus the Steelers. So that is exciting news. I had a tab open. Wow, where'd you go, Twitter? If I can get that pulled back up real quick. Because it had a little note. There it is. So this is from Adam Schefter. Since suffering, he posted. I don't think he wrote this, but anyway, maybe he did. Since suffering a concussion in week 4, Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins and his team of independent doctors, not the one that got fired, followed a thorough process that far exceeds the NFL's concussion protocol, per sources. He received 4 outside opinions in addition to team doctors who unanimously cleared him from protocol, and all agreed that his scans showed no signs of long-term impact to the brain. Really? This is a best-case scenario for the quarterback who was off to an impressive start for the 2022 season. Yada. I mean, amazing news, but I'm sure I'm not the only skeptical one out there, but man, I hope he's okay. Tagovailoa. That's what I said. Red Rifle. Yes, exactly. He's another guy that is starting today, Josh. Or should I say, yeah, he's starting and Jameis is behind him as the backup. So that's it for Tua. On to Carson Wentz, who suffered a fractured finger on his throwing hand in the team's win over the Bears. I believe that was Thursday night. He's headed to Los Angeles to see a hand specialist to determine the next step. His availability moving forward is up in the air. I mean, yeah, he's got to miss at least a couple games, right? Throwing hand, fractured finger. As far as his fantasy viability, about half the year he'd been viable, and the other half of the year he'd been hot garbage. It's just he's wildly inconsistent, and he doesn't have a very good team around him. I think he was more consistent last year. I think he had a couple better games this year with the Commanders, but last year I think he was more consistent week to week, more like a dependable QB12 kind of guy. But yeah, so off the top of my head, I think it's Taylor Heineke is their backup, but I am not positive about that. I think I had a league. I dropped Wentz. I'm going with there was Lawrence and Russell Wilson. I think now I've got Lawrence and Danny Dimes, and I'm starting Daniel Jones this week. So here's to me. Onward and upward. Dolphins quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, should have read this after Tua, also was cleared from concussion protocol today per sources. He will be active week 6 and serve as the backup on Sunday to rookie QB Skylar Thompson. He was a 7th round pick. Skylar Thompson was a 7th, so he was drafted. I thought he might have been undrafted. Patriots list quarterback Mac Jones as questionable for Sunday. I need an update on that. Unlikely to play despite being listed as questionable, says Ian Rappaport. That was 12 hours ago, so my apologies. Mac Jones' ankle is unlikely to play today. Quarterback Aaron Jones' right thumb is off the injury report. Panthers head coach Steve Wilks said PJ Walker will start on Sunday versus the Rams. That's the Panthers. Panthers quarterback PJ Walker is going to start in place of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is doubtful, but has a chance to be active as the backup. So there you go. Speaking of the Panthers, and moving on to running backs here, the Carolina Panthers are listening to other teams about a potential trade for star running back Christian McCaffrey, although a deal might not be easy to complete, sources tell ESPN. Before I got that update yesterday, I think it was, I had heard elsewhere that, or at least an opinion elsewhere, that, first of all, the Panthers would rather find a good quarterback and basically stick him in there. I know that sounds easier said than done, but if they could draft a guy, bring in a veteran signing, they've got good pieces there, at least in terms of offensive weapons on the offensive side of the ball. So, your DJ Moores and your Christian McCaffreys and your Robbie Anderson. I mean, Terrace Marshall is just in limbo as of now. They just drafted a tight end 2 years ago, maybe now. Escapes me. Anyway, so they'd rather just get a guy, put him in, move forward. And for Robbie Anderson, thank you. Yes. Thank you, sir. I was laughing at your Tatum Hansen comment. Tyler Henneke. But this update, kind of, I'm sorry. And the other flip side of that is, especially with CMC, you'd have to be like I'd say a Buffalo Bills maybe, but they may not even have the cap room. But Buffalo Bills, who's in a win-now window, an extremely good team on both sides of the ball. Maybe they could foot that expensive running back contract for a year or two, get a championship out of it type of thing. I agree with that move, but outside of them and a couple others, what team would want to take on that contract at a position that is replaceable? Yeah, Christian McCaffrey is arguably the best in the league. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey is one of those, I don't know, maybe half a dozen running backs that are worthy of an extensive contract, a great deal, but I don't know if I see it happening. I guess I have one redraft team with DJ Moore on it. I'm hoping that he gets moved. He seems like the more likely candidate. Call me crazy. But I no longer manage him in Dynasty, so it's like, what can I really get out of him in the rest of 2022 if he changes teams? New offense. So we'll see. Josh AFFB says they're trying to keep the pieces in play to exactly. That's a better way to word it. Well said, sir. Trying to keep the pieces in place to attract an offensive-minded guy this time. So I don't think anything's going to happen there, but it's interesting, so I included that, and I want to talk about that for a whole minute. The Rams ruled out Cam Akers for Sunday versus Carolina due to personal reasons. I don't remember if I actually watched the press conference. I think I had the sound off, but I was reading the quotes and the updates from it. Basically, when Sean McVay was asked about any committing to Cam Akers' future as a Ram, he chose not to comment. He was non-committal. He's been awful. I don't know if that's why. If I had to guess, I think it's more trade stuff. I think they wanted him off the field so he didn't get hurt, so maybe they could trade him. What they're going to get for him? I mean, I don't know, a fifth? I know that's being a little hyperbolic, but he has been bad, and I don't think he's back from his Achilles. And some of the other backs in the league, Robinson, it might just be opportunity with James Robinson in Jacksonville, but my concern is maybe that Achilles is flaring up, or maybe there's compensation injuries. So when I read this about Cam Akers, I mean, it could be. He could have gotten mad at the coach. It could have been an argument. I have no clue. None of us know. But my hunch is they're moving on. So there's folks out there that are losing fantasy managers that are losing a running back. So I want to talk about that real quick, and then we're on. AKA, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Josh AFBFB agrees with me. He says, AKA, they're trying to trade Cam Akers. Couldn't agree more so. Colts running backs Naheem Hines, concussion, and Jonathan Taylor, ankle, both downgraded to out this today, which would be Sunday. Raheem Mostert, knee, questionable for week 6 versus the Vikings. Not start. No, I'm just kidding. 2 days. It's still only a 2-day-old update. Officially, it's questionable. Then on Thursday, he would play this weekend after seeing a season. But he said he's going to play. I don't see anything about a game time decision, but that is his comment, not the coaches or the doctors. Yeah, the sleeper goes on to say fantasy managers will want to check their Mostert status. So please, treat it as a game time decision. Double check your lineups. I didn't have an NFL schedule pulled up today. Vikings at Dolphins at noon. Okay, got it. Well, I'm in Central Time, but whatever. Onward and upward. That was Mostert. Running backs Saquon Barkley, shoulder, has no injury designation and is good to go, aka Crunchwrap Supreme, as Josh likes to say. Josh injured himself overcompensating. Yeah, that'll happen. This feels like old news, but we gotta mention it. Cardinals ruled out running back James Conner and running back Darrell Williams. Gone. Harbaugh, Jim, whichever one in Baltimore, the only one that coaches in the NFL right now. Harbaugh says the Gus Bus is getting close to a return. I tried to get him on my roster. I mean, he's not going to hit the ground running, pun intended. But I think they're the type of team to use 2 backs. I think they're the type of team that wants a roll. He's a big back, and he's, I think he's got a chance to contribute to some fantasy squads this year. But I just couldn't drop some of the guys that I was dealing with, some of which were teams with 2 quarterbacks for contingency reasons, a couple tight ends for contingency reasons, which I don't like to do, but just can't find anything out there. And then the likes of like your Eno Benjamins and your Mike Boones. I could not go out that far to drop them for Gus Bus. But he's getting close to a return. The Giants are expected to have not only defensive line Leonard Williams back from his knee injury, but also rookie Wandale Robinson back from his knee injury today versus the Ravens. Saints wide receiver Chris Olave, listed as questionable for Sunday due to a concussion, is not expected to play versus the Bengals. Oh, what does this say here? This would leave the Saints without wide receivers Olave, Michael Thomas, and Jarvis Landry. I think I have a Thomas update down here. Patriots wide receiver Jacoby Myers, listed as questionable due to knee injury, is expected to play. Keenan Allen doubts he'll play, targeting week 7. I wanted to get confirmation on that. I mean, he's not going to play this week. Doubtful. Yeah, he's doubtful. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to wait around to start him. He's not going to play. He's doubtful. So hopefully week 7, like he said. Quick interlude on that. I think that gives continued viability to Gerald Everett. He had a horrible game, like 1 or 3 points or something like that last week, but he's been a red zone target, or at least he's been catching touchdowns. His targets have been above average, I'd say, if not downright good. A couple of not so great games for this year for sure, but he's been on my roster for some time now. He is pretty reliable guy, and he looks like he might continue to be reliable without Keenan Allen being back. Tyler Lockett is a receiver for the Seahawks. He was removed from the injury report. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were off the week 6 injury report also. Packers wide receiver Christian Watson, hamstring, is out. Julio Jones, knee, is doubtful for week 6 against Pitt. He's probably not going to play. He's doubtful. Zay Jones and Marvin Jones, questionable for week 6. Zay Jones. Was a limited participant. And the team is optimistic that he will suit up on Sunday. Marvin Jones was declared out. Okay, so Marvin Jones is out. Zay Jones is... Team says it's optimistic that he will suit up. So you got to treat him like a game time decision. Out of the Jones brothers for the Jaguars. They're not brothers. I'm just messing around. Everett is dealing with Donald Parham coming back. He's been losing snaps to Parham. What is Parham doing? Absolutely nothing. I know that's not your point. No, did he played one game, week 5, had one target. No, I don't. Not seeing it. Oh, 38% snap for Parham. That's not insignificant, to your point. And it was his debut, so that's gonna go up. Yeah, that's not looking great for Gerald Everett. I just really that big? Lord, 6'8", 237. So they'd really have to like Parham. You know, from a dynasty angle, he's a hot name, don't get me wrong, but you know, when you play at Stetson, you're 6'8", 237. I don't know. Blender for 6'8", kinda. Maybe I should watch him play more. 38% snaps, one target last week. Josh brings up a good point. You got to keep your eye out for Parham cutting in to Gerald Everett's snaps. Oh, show, and I forgot to click on the thing. Where were we? We were... Oh, we weren't on tight ends yet. We were finishing up receivers. T. Higgins' ankle is questionable for week 6. Bunch of these. I did it right up to before the show. In fact, I was a couple minutes late. So these... Holy... I didn't get the answers on all of them. He is a game time decision. T. Higgins is a game time decision. A couple of those today. Hope he plays. Onward and upward. Michael Thomas, talked about him already, ruled out for week 6 versus Cincinnati. Ravens' #1 wide receiver, Rashad Bateman, has been ruled out for a foot injury. The Giants ruled out wide receivers Kenny Galladay. I'll do the proverbial Josh yawn. Do a knee injury, and Kadarius Toney hamstring injury. They're both out again. Again and again. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp, foot injury, and their tight end Tyler Higbee with an ankle injury. Both listed as questionable for Sunday. Both are expected to play versus the Panthers, per source. Tight end Dawson Knox with a foot and a hamstring injury is off the week 6 injury report. Kyle Pitts, Josh's favorite NFL player of all time. Move over, Tom Brady. Kyle Pitts expected to play with his hamstring injury versus the 49ers. So he will get his customary 70% snap share and 3 targets. Onward to the last update. The Steelers secondary is very banged up as they ruled out They ruled out safety Micah Fitzpatrick, cornerback Cam Sutton, cornerback Angelo Witherspoon, and quarterback Levi Wallace. Wow. For the Sunday versus Tom Brady and the Bucks, and tight end Pat Freiermuth is also out. I touched on Freiermuth a little bit in the Thursday show. You got to remember we're in this climate of 2022 NFL with Tua's horrific-looking concussion. Pat Freiermuth has already had 3 concussions in his NFL career, which is only 2 seasons. Well, this is his 2nd season, so not even 2 full seasons. And he had one at Penn State. So that's 4 concussions in at whatever point he got it at Penn State. I'm worried that it was closer to senior year. So the 3 or 4 concussions that close together, a little worried about the guy. Great player, though. Good player. Good looking young player. But he's out today, and hopefully he is feeling healthy like Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. I did again. I definitely have to hesitate, though. Kyle Pitts is going to play and no one cares. Yep, there you go, folks. That's the headline of the day. No, it's not. I was going to touch on that real quick. Not a lot, just an opinion, just some frustration. Don't be mistaken, folks. Kyle Pitts was worthy of the 4th overall NFL draft pick. He was worthy of a very high rookie dynasty pick. Maybe not 4th at this point, but just what ridiculous usage. Like I touched on already. I said 70% snap share. I don't have it in front of me, but it's right in that ballpark. It's just, why wouldn't you have him out there all the time? He's a receiver. He's a tight end. He's, it just, and the target share. Yeah, I don't have the average, but it's been 67%, 62% the last 2 weeks he played. So that was week 3 and 4. Came down from 84% and 93%. Maybe he was dinged up and they were trying to manage it, but again, you couple that with just the ridiculous targets. I blame coaching and an absolutely awful quarterback that everybody likes to sign as a backup and they're trying to tank. Like, what? How can we lose the most games? Let's get Marcus Mariota out there. I cannot. Tua Tagovailoa. I just said it 3 or 4 times in a row. I can't say it. See? But I don't practice it. Tagovailoa. 5 syllables. All right. This is good. Oh, what else we got? Any asking for our friends out there? Any questions from the audience? Anything like that? I was up some stuff like that. I'm so glad I got Geno Smith in there. Oh, it was Geno and Carson. Okay, why do I still have Carson on my... I was going to drop him for somebody. Guess I never got around to it. Oh, what do we have here? Maybe it was the other league. It was the... Josh is here and I already talked about this with him. Bungo. So glad you're here to correct me, Josh. It just wouldn't be the same, you know? It just wouldn't be the same. Oh, story of my goddamn life. All right. So, I've got one. Again, Josh already gave me his opinion. Trevor Lawrence versus Danny Dimes versus... No, I already said this earlier in the show. I said I'm going Danny Dimes. So, question, actually. I got one more. Benjamin or Mike Boone. I am excited about Boone, but Eno's going to get the work. Boone's going to have Gordon in his way. You can't go with Boone there. I hope we find something out. This won't be built till Monday night or the Denver Chargers game. I mean, I don't mean like, oh, suddenly Boone's freaking Saquon Barkley. I just mean like what the snap percentages look like, what the targets look like. See if I, eat crow. See if it's still just a, I don't know what, 60-40 in favor of Gordon, 70-30 in favor of Gordon. But I can't help but, I think even Josh came around a day or two ago about, he did have some juice. He did look good. I think I remember Josh mentioning that on the show. Oh, right. Oh, shoot. I forgot to post. I forgot to post the link in ZTT Discord there, Josh. My bad. Throwing stuff together real quick. AKA, I wanted to sleep in a tad. Grade the trade. James Conner. And a second for David Montgomery. Badly need to have Monty for the bye weeks. Yeah, I'm not doing that if I'm the Montgomery owner. Let me backtrack a little. I'd like to look up. Oh, he had one really good one. I say really good. I thought he did. Oh, I guess he just looked really good. Everybody was really about him after week 5, I think it was. Okay, so whatever. Reasonable stat percentages, 72 and 78 since his 2 games back, week 5 and week 6. I don't know. 16.2 fantasy points week 5, 8.5 last week. Maybe you make a good point. It's just Connor's literally not playing right now. He's hurt. You probably can't get a first for Montgomery right now, but that's... I think I'm taking the Montgomery side of that. I'll just put it that way. It's not a bad offer though. Said you were losing the trade handily. Wow. I think that trade calculator has an updated James Conner's worth, but I mean they're getting Cardinals are getting Hopkins back. I feel like the bits of news I've been getting is that the offense has been playing a little better because they sure weren't at the beginning of the year. Yeah, so I mean As far as I know, Kyler's fine. I don't think he's putting up world-beating stats, though, so I think there's some concern there with that contract they signed him to. But, yeah, I suppose Connor comes back, you know, as close to 100% as you can be at this point in the season. Hopkins opens things up a little bit over the top and, you know, as far as possession-wise. Oh, Kyler's been fine. Yeah. I don't average of his fantasy points. 22, 28, 24, 18. That's fine. One 12-point stinker out there. Yardage is fine. So yeah, oh gosh, I just think that cliff is. I think James Conner is dancing in that cliff of his career ending. I don't think he can stay healthy. I mean, he did have 2 injuries, ribs and ankle. So that's kind of where I stand. Other one here. Oh, hey, what's up, Kyle? Oh, I was just reading about Kyler Murray, and your name looked a lot like it. Thanks for joining us, Kyle. Kyle has a question in the audience. Flex, PPR. Melvin Gordon, Henderson from the Rams, Jacoby Myers, Pickens. Ooh. Pull my trusty NFL schedule up because I forget things. I feel like I like Henderson. Josh says Henderson. We've got Rams, Panthers. I don't in particular like Gordon because I'm kind of in the Boone camp. And it's the Chargers and it's Monday night. Jacoby Pickens. I just put him into one player there, Kyle. Jacoby Myers or Pickens. Who are the Patriots playing? Browns. Steelers have the banged up. Gosh. You know, maybe Steelers have to throw a ton to come back against Buccaneers, and it's a full PPR, but you probably got to go with the guy that's going to get the work. And Henderson for the Rams. Darrell Henderson has been more or less the target getter between the two. And now that Cam Akers is, no offense to him, but quote, out of the way, I'm going to agree with Josh. I'm going to go Henderson there. Rams, Panthers. I mean, they're going to get a lead on the Panthers, I think. Yep, Henderson. That was the only one. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. Yeah, Jacoby was... Yeah, it's Zappe. It's Zappe. He's the quarterback. I mean, we all have some hope for Zappe. Absolutely, Kyle. Thanks, man. Smash this subscribe button and check us out every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. That's when we do kind of our players of the week, starts of the week, if you will. Our Fave 5. Absolutely, man. No problem. You're welcome. Onward and upward. Josh threw out a couple there. We're sitting at 10. Trying to see if I had any tough running back decisions here. I mean, kinda, but it really was a no-brainer. Sitting in Benjamin, having just picked him up, I guess. But I've got Eckler, Ramondre, and Jeff Wilson. I mean, I guess you could say Jeff Wilson or Benjamin. Jeff Wilson at Atlanta, Benjamin at Seattle. I mean, they're both great matchups. Wilson's been really dependable lately. Oh, Josh, I saw you one old... Oh, yeah, that's it. The aforementioned Henderson. We were the only two to put bids, and you won it with 10 to my 6. I was like, oh, look who's here. Lovely. Lovely. It's there. Yeah, better. We're good. Have that many decisions to make. I mean, yeah, okay. Of the aforementioned Gerald Everett, versus his teammate Donald Parham or whatnot. How about Irv Smith or Gerald Everett? I mean, Josh just dropped Irv Smith, so that might do it for me there. Appreciate it, Kyle. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, Gerald Everett or Irv Smith. As of now, I have Irv Smith in because it's a real nice matchup, and we mentioned a little bit of the problems with Everett in terms of a stinker last week. And Donald Parham getting 38% last week. 38%, to be clear. I'd have to look at the score of the game, and Cleveland is a reasonably decent defense. He only had 1 catch. I don't have his targets page. Everett. I mean, like 38% and an NFL tight end, like that's not going to preclude Everett from being a good fantasy contributor. However, that 38% goes up. Yeah, now we're in trouble. Oh, yeah. Basically, you've got Keenan coming back next week too. So be real interesting to see week 6 snaps, this week's snaps for Donald Parham. Yeah, a little concerning. So I've got Irv Smith in there this week. What say ye in the crowd? Oh, hey, everybody show, guys. Got Edward Zhang, Godwin or Sutton, full PPR. I'm already starting Lenny and Mike Evans on the same team. I see that. That makes me want to go Sutton. Got the Chargers on the and Godwin. Godwin's been banged up, man. Wide receiver Chris Godwin, hip and knee. Oh, he's off the injury report though. Leo's doubtful, most likely out, I would say. Pittsburgh. Ooh. Pittsburgh's secondary is really banged up. Edward, let me give you a quick update on that. Steelers secondary is very banged up. They ruled out safety Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Sutton, and a bunch of cornerbacks. Cam Sutton, Angelo Witherspoon, and Levi Wallace. That's 3 corners. Are all eliminated. So that secondary is super banged up. That really kind of makes me go Godwin. But when you have the same guys on the same team, I hate going through that. I mean, you can't sit Lenny. You just can't sit Lenny. Let's get that out of the way. Gosh, man, I guess I'm going to go Sutton, but Godwin might be better because of that news about the Steelers secondary. But I am going to go Sutton. Sutton's got a fine matchup, and he's been so reliable. Jesus. Oh, that's his name. Goodness Christ of the league. That's a beautiful name, sir. Love it. Got offered JT and Deontay for Diggs. Woo. Redraft? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's just redraft. I got to keep Diggs, though. JT's hurt right now. I think Deontay's... He's getting phased out. That's just not true, but... Got a rookie quarterback with Deontay. Or which side of the trade? Diggs side. And JT is tempting. If I've got another, like, Diggs caliber player behind Diggs, like I've got, like, a... Okay, maybe not quite that caliber. Absolutely, Edward. Absolutely, Edward. No problem, man. Appreciate it. Smash that sub button. We're here at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning, Central Time. And every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. We go live. We do our favorite starters of the week at the important positions, and then we give you some streamers at quarterback and tight end because we need them. But yeah, absolutely, you're welcome, Edwin. Back to I can't get my question back up there. Back. Yeah, if I had like a, who would it take to have behind Diggs for me to do that? Something crazy, like I don't know. Or, I mean, not right now, CD, but Bengals guys might do it if I had Jamar Chase. Highly unlikely in a redraft you're going to have that, so my final answer is going to be I'm going to keep Diggs. Can't believe I'm saying that for JT. Yeah. Let me know who your other receivers are, and then maybe I'll flip on that JC of the league. But as of now, I just can't give up Diggs in a redraft at this point in the season. Not important. Wide receiver 1 through 5 was. Diggs is close. Yeah, like if I had Cooper Kupp and Diggs. There you go. That would be a no-brainer. Yeah, here's Diggs. See you later. I'll take JT. And Deontay is practically a throw-in at this point. I mean, I like the player. I've always liked Deontay, man. I think he needs to... If it's going to be Pickens and Pickett, and I guess a little bit of a Claypool or whatnot, Deontay out of there, get him on another team. He's just such a good possession receiver. I think he can do more, too. Devontae behind him, but on bye. So correct me if I'm wrong, you couldn't even pull the trigger this week unless you're just picking up a spot start wide receiver off waivers, and that's dicey. First bye weeks of the year. At least you're going to get it. Oh, that's what he's doing. He's trying to get that Devontae bye out of the way. But to give up JT for it. Devontae's been good, man. I might do that trade, actually. Suspension, too. Oh, no. It's suspension this week. No, it's bye this week. Has not been suspended. Is unlikely to be disciplined. Okay, so let's just move forward. He's not going to get demeanor. Yeah, I think he'll be all right. But bye week. Good dicks. Pardon me, I'm just thinking it out loud. That's a tough one, man. If I have Devontae, I probably would do that. Look at Devontae's schedule. Closes out not strong. Week 15 through 18, although don't play in week 18. Just don't play in week 8. Don't play your championship in the 18th week of a season. It's just, don't do it. You get New England, Pittsburgh, San Fran, KC. KC is actually a pretty good matchup if I'm not mistaken. Near future, Houston, but then he gets New Orleans, Jacksonville, Beavers. Beavers pretty decent against receivers. Seattle's awful. Chargers have been letting people put up points. Diggs is just so much better than Devontae right now in terms of output and reliability. Couple okay games from Diggs. You gotta take the running back though. If you got Devontae, you gotta take the running back. I'll quit hemming and hawing about it. Oh, here we go. Waddle, Lockett, Jeff Wilson. Oh, we got another one here. Waddle, Lockett, Jeff Wilson Jr. for Devontae. Just got hurt. That stinks. I like that trade for you, buddy. Yeah. That's how you got Devontae. Yeah, I got to pull that trigger to get JT. If you're okay having Devontae at your one, go get JT. I like that. He's giving you a really good offer, to be fair. I mean, I know I piled on Deontay a little bit, but I mean, that's like arguably the best one-on-one running back. He's been disappointing. Colts have been disappointing. JT's out today. What can you do? But he's being an opportunistic manager, but I think I might take that offer from him, given that I have Devontae. You're wheeling and dealing. Jesus Christ, you're wheeling and dealing. By all means, tune in on Thursdays. We give you our favorite 5, basically flexes, our running backs and receivers. And after that, the next segment is a streaming segment where we give you streaming quarterbacks and tight ends. Yeah, and then we touch on, and we field questions too. So feel free to show up. 8 p.m. Central Time, Thursday nights, and then 10 a.m. Central, Sunday mornings, right here on AFFB. Keep it going. Keep it going. I can't help it. I bet every trade calculator says the Devontae side is winning. I mean, it just has to. It's still so valuable. And then, of course, JFT. I don't know what you do this week, though. Myers is out there. I would hope not, but maybe Myers is out there. He's off the injury report. He's a target getter. Well for you. PPR format. Full. I don't know what I'm going to do at tight end. You got me scared about Gerald Everett now, Josh. I'm not starting him this week. I am going to go Irv Smith, which probably worse. 2 and 3. 2 and 3, 3 and 2 across all my leagues. Only in 3 this year. Hey, what's up, ZC? We got ZC, aka Don. I pulled Dalton Schultz, he means, out of the tight end spot, even though he's healthy. Seems like he hasn't been the most reliable, so picked him up. Up a 1 week only tight end. Who's that? ZC, who's that you got starting this week then in the place of Dalton Schultz? And JC, ZC and JC. Jesus Christ. Hence why he gave me Devontae on bye. Yeah, exactly. Thomas out and trying to give up JT. Yeah. Yeah. Again, opportunistic manager, but it's hard to refuse that JT offer, man. I'm not going to lie. I think I'd have to probably do that. He's got a tight end there this week. ZC, my 6 tight end streamer. We do 2 tight ends and 1 quarterback every week from both Josh and I. So that gives you 4 tight ends and 2 quarterbacks on the show to take a look at. Where are they? I went Irv Smith and Will Dissly. Yes. Irv Smith it is. Man, we're gonna look like geniuses if this works out, but please do not hold your breath. He's had like 1, maybe 2 decent games. I don't love it, but it's bleak. It's bleak. Is that in our league? In the Friends with Benefits, I bet. PC? I bet it is. Irv. Find who had. There it is. ZC. Yep. That's the league you're talking about. It's a great matchup. Projected for 7.4 points. 1. I love how the last sentence is fantasy managers should look elsewhere for starting tight end options this week. Oh, I'm the analyst, right? Got 2 down. Yes. All right, we're about 45 minutes deep. Yeah, well, with Dak coming back. Thing was, I know it's narrative, but sometimes narrative is right when it's always right. It seems like when Cooper Rush came in, suddenly Noah Brown was his favorite, although CD was still getting great target volume and making plays. But Noah Brown looked real good. You know, they came up, they practiced together, practice squad together, second or third team reps for the past, like 2 or 3 years together. So that makes sense that they have chemistry together. Dak back next week. I think he might be. And hey, let's just touch on that real quick, because everybody loves to hear me talk about my favorite NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm joking, but I am going to touch on it real quick. Just to get the opinion out of the way, first of all, continuing to start Cooper Rush would be ridiculous. This is not the same situation as it was when Dak took over for Romo. Romo broke his back. It was a longer injury. Dak was at least drafted. And the manner in which we were winning the games, no, he wasn't throwing 30, 40 touchdowns or anything, but the manner in which we were winning the games showed what Dak could do as a rookie, and the defense was nowhere near as good as it is this year. Dak's healthy, 100%, you play Dak. So is that next week? I don't know, but that's why I would give Dalton Schultz a chance if my roster could afford it. And what's out there? I mean, Kyle Pitts. It's scary. I just can't do it right now. Your Robert Tunyons and Hayden Hursts of the world. Hayden Hurst has actually been pretty okay, especially as a streaming tight end, but he's questionable and has a bad matchup this week. But yeah, I think I'd give Schultz 1 more week. You hear Dak's not starting next week? Ask me then. I'll put it that way. Oh, Hurst is active this week. Active. Great, Chris. And an advertisement. That would not be great. Loud. Plays New Orleans. They're probably really. Yeah, they're 4th best against the tight end the Saints are. Sorry, I just wanted to double check, see if people should be starting Hurst. Probably not. Scored 2 times in a row. Probably means he won't score again. Yeah. Give Schultz another chance. Irv Smith, I'm sticking with one of my streamers of the week. I already mentioned my other one was Will Dissly. Odds in agreement. Yeah, I figured Dak was going to be back next week. So Schultz. And plus, they're playing the Eagles this week. Like, it may not even been a good matchup. I don't know how they are specifically against the tight end, but Eagles is a good defense. Holy crap, was my roster on fire last week. Nice. Not for you, but just for me to see. $170, dang. That might be the high of the year. Helps when you have Mahomes. Dalvin Cook finally showing out. Tried to sell Dalvin Cook high. Draft? Yeah, of course. Here, and I don't have him in Dynasty. Or Fournette doing what he does, basically. Kind of pancaked twice on Leonard Fournette. I really thought at his size, he had some questions coming in at the beginning of the year. He's just so good out of the backfield, catch the ball, and he's that big back that can also give you 15 carries, score a red zone touchdown. I just think Rachaad White's got something to offer, especially in the pass game. But we'll see how that snap share works out the next few weeks. I have been touting Rachaad, and he's on a couple of my rosters. Diggs has a real nice game for you. Yeah, Schultz was the stinker. You're like, I'll just put a 0 at tight end. Out last week though. Yeah, 1 target. Just tough to trust for fantasy managers. It's the same opinion across the board. The hope is that Dak Prescott returns and their chemistry kicks back up. But I've got him in Dynasty. He's less valuable in Dynasty. I'm worried. I've managed to pick the correct starting tight end for the last sans Jason Witten. Since he's been gone, I've managed to pick up the right guy. Schultz, I guess, is the only one. I had Jar and also 170. Any trade talk? Me complaining nobody will give me a first-round pick for Austin Eckler. That's about it. That's about it. I could gush about Breece Hall since I traded for him in the ZTT League. And I drafted him at the 101 in Dynasty, which I'm trying to rebuild. But what a game. Now he gets a tougher defense in Green Bay and Denver in a row. Jeez, actually Green Bay, Denver, New England, Buffalo. Oh my goodness. It's going to be real interesting to see how Breece Hall does this next 4 weeks. You get Green Bay, Denver, New England, Buffalo. I mean, I'm starting him this week. You have to start him. Buffalo's really good. That's a tough schedule right there. Pardon me. Back here. Oh, ZT is asking where Josh is today. He's got the COVID. Yep. He just burst his COVID cherry a few days ago. Unfortunately, it was the reason he caught it is because his dad caught it, who's a tad elderly, and so there was concern there with his father getting COVID, but that's how he got it, either from his dad or being in hospital, etc., etc. So he got it for the first time. Josh actually works in a hospital, but I think sometimes he's like in a storeroom, warehouse. So he may not always be around patients and whatnot, but they definitely have to wear masks and managed to avoid it up to this point. But yeah, so his voice wasn't doing too great, but Other than that, he hasn't given me any indication that he's, you know, not heading south or sliding down, but he's doing okay. Just a little sick. Yep. Oof. Well, I hope them both the best. Yeah. He had trouble with his dog this week. This week? Yeah. Chris, this previous week. He seems to be doing better. Cost a pretty penny. She has bronchitis? Pneumonia. Bronchitis. She has bronchitis. I'm probably getting that wrong. I'm sticking with bronchitis. But again, she's on the mend. She's doing better. Really scary there, man. Really scary. Obviously, about his father than the dog, but I am a dog lover and a Josh lover. A Josh liker. I really felt bad for the dude, and it seems he's doing better. He was there Thursday night and in good spirits. That was good. Got to do the show and play some Rocket League, but he was not feeling. Well, I think I'm gonna bounce, guys. I got about a couple minutes to spare, but I can't think of any other salient points I was looking at here that we needed to talk about. All right, everybody's kind of got their questions in. Oh, I messed up the description. I didn't put the links in the description. Check us out on Discord. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Can I do that? Pop those in chat real quick. And if it's just UZC, there were popping in today. I'm really pleased with that. Thank you for supporting the show, guys. Super happy. Me and Josh put a lot of effort into the show. We have a good time. Edit invite link. Expires. No limit. Generate new link. Copy. Yeah, that's a link. Join us on Discord. Follow us on Twitter. I am at AFFB Chris, and Josh is at Josh AFFB. Yep, at AFFB Chris, at Josh AFFB. That's AFFB for Amazing Fantasy Football. Football is one word, but we had to make our abbreviation different than something else of a different ilk. Have a good week. Oh, he says good. Typo. And good luck with your teams. Absolutely, ZC. You too, sir, unless you're playing me. And we will see you Thursday night, folks. Adios.